All right, as promised, here's our NHL analyst, Martin Biron. And Marty, I have to bring up something maybe a little bit uncomfortable with you to start. So in each of the 4 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs, you picked against the Edmonton Oilers. And for the first 3 rounds, that worked out beautifully. Unfortunately, in the Cup final, for Oiler fans, that didn't work out so well. How badly are you feeling right now?
I feel really bad because I was hoping to keep the magic going. Basically, what's wrong with Marty? He keeps picking against the Oilers, but the Oilers keep winning. So I'm like, I'm going to go Panthers in 6 because that will mean that the Oilers will win, maybe in 6, maybe in 7, whoever. It doesn't matter. The Oilers will win. And now I'm sitting here, and it's the Panthers in 6, and the Oilers are like, they're done. So, I mean, yes, it's disappointing. I'm sorry, Edmonton Oilers fan. I was really trying to keep it going, and I may be at fault for the Oilers' loss right now.
Okay, let's get right into the offseason here. We know that Connor McDavid can sign a contract extension in less than 2 weeks, July the 1st. Now, a reminder, last season it took Leon Draisaitl until September to sign his contract extension. But in Connor's case, would you like to see it happen a little bit earlier in the offseason?
Well, I'm not worried if it happens later in the offseason because I figured like Connor McDavid's value is already set. Everybody knows it's going to be an 8-year deal, pretty much close to the max, right? And he gets to dictate that. He's the best player in the world. So they know what kind of money we're talking about here. But here's the thing. Does Connor want to sign? And how, as a team, do you let Connor know, look, we want you. We're going to make this team even better. So everything you're doing this summer, it's to make sure that Connor McDavid is happy. So, at the draft, trades, free agency, whatever, make those moves. Let Connor know that team is going to go to a 3rd straight finals. We're going to win a cup, and you're going to be happy to be here in Edmonton for your whole career. So that's why I'm not worried if we get to September, and I think he could sign then. If the season starts and he's not signed, then I'm worried because that is going to be a massive distraction. Imagine the best player in the world not signed entering a season and could be a UFA at the end of the year. So, no, don't let it get to October. But if it's late August, early September, I'm totally good with it.
Let's talk about the goaltending situation. Boy, you and I have talked about it so much, buddy, over the course of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And one thing we did talk about last week was the fact that in terms of unrestricted free agents, Jake Allen is the best goaltender available, and that's not necessarily a massive upgrade if you're the Edmonton Oilers. So if you're not going to go into next season, Marty, with Stu Skinner and Calvin Pickard, what kind of upgrade would you want to make for the Oilers?
Again, as you mentioned, like free agent market, July 1, I don't really see anybody that's coming in as an upgrade. But if you want to make sure you upgrade your crease, it has to be a trade. And you have to be aggressive in what you're going to do in a trade. So I look at Thatcher Demko, right? They signed Kevin Lankinen. Artur Shilov is doing great in the American League. John Gibson, finally, is John Gibson going to get traded from the Anaheim Ducks? You have Elvis Merzlikins. I mean, a change of scenery for Merzlikins would be great. He's had some up and down years, but I really think he's a good goalie. And Jordan Binnington, there was rumors last year, maybe the St. Louis Blues are going to move on from Jordan Binnington. But if you're the Oilers and you need to upgrade your crease, you got to be aggressive. You throw in prospects, you throw in picks, and next year, the year after, 3 years down the road, go ahead, go all out, throw in whatever, overpay if you have to. But for me, that is the number one priority. You got to get something else increased. And look, Colorado did it in season last year. It's hard to do in season, but Colorado did it. If I'm the Oilers, I'm doing it in the offseason. And it's not that Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard didn't do good, but it's not good enough right now. And you got to be able to make that stand and make that move.
Maybe more intriguing even than the Connor McDavid contract situation is the Evan Bouchard contract situation, Marty. He's the major restricted free agent. He's arbitration eligible. He was so terrific for long stretches of the Stanley Cup playoffs, less so in the Cup final. Are you giving Evan Bouchard $10 million a season?
Yeah, I think I'm going 10 plus, right? And you look at Evan Bouchard could be a top 5 defenseman in the National Hockey League, top 10 for sure. When he plays with Matthias Ekholm and Ekholm is healthy, those two play really well together. You want that top pair. And so what's a top 5, top 10 defenseman in the National Hockey League making? You know, you got guys making 11 and a half more. Like, I think that you're looking at Evan Bouchard, you're looking at the cap going up. You're going to give him $10+ million. on a pretty long, extension, a long-term contract. Now, Draisaitl's already signed. You're going to sign Buchard, and in a year from now, McDavid's contract is going to kick in. So at the start of the 2026-2027 season, you could be spending $40 million on 3 players. And I get it. That's a lot. But anybody around the league would say, I'll spend the $40 million on Draisaitl, McDavid, and Bouchard. I mean, this could be the big tree. You're moving into a new era, the big tree, and everybody else is going to have to adjust and adapt. But I think every team would love to have those 3 caliber players, and I know it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yep, no question about it. Finally, Leon Draisaitl made a big deal about the fact that one of the big advantages the Panthers had in the Cup final was their depth up front. What could you possibly do to fix that if you're Stan Bowman, Marty?
Stay healthy. I mean, the Florida Panthers were healthy up front, and the Edmonton Oilers weren't. Yep. Zach Hyman is a big part. Like, Zach Hyman healthy, they play Game 7 on Friday night. I can guarantee you that. Evander Kane wasn't healthy all season long, and he came back in the playoffs, and Evander Kane was a big help with the depth, but he ran out of energy, ran out of juice, I felt, in the final. So you're looking at the injury. You can't control the injuries, but here's what you got to do. Because you got Draisaitl, McDavid going to make a lot of money, and Bouchard, whatnot. You need some entry-level guys, some rookies, some younger guys to step up and play big minutes. Matthew Savoy may be one of them. He had a really good season in the AHL. So maybe Matthew Savoy comes in and plays top 9 and produces, and now you're looking, okay, this is a guy that, is making, rookie deal. And that's what you're going to have to get for the Edmonton Oilers, or a very, very valued deal. Maybe it's Corey Perry and those guys, again, making the, very little money, but you're going to have to get some lesser contracts to perform. Last year, they didn't hit on those, and that's why the depth was affected.
13 days until free agent frenzy on July the 1st. I can't wait. Marty, thanks for this.